There you go. So OHM Energy was founded about 20 years ago. Jason Linfield's our founder, CEO. He's not here today. He's currently winging his way down to Bristol to go to an awards evening this evening to collect another event, and I'll touch upon the awards that we've been successful in achieving over the last few months and years. As a business, we are not just a solar PV provider or contractor. We're a lot more than that. The experience we have within our team allows us to advise and consult with our clients on pretty much all of the aspects of the energy sector, through to talking to the likes of the network operators, UKPN, to making sure that the contracts are right in place, ensuring that if there are any nasties in those contracts that could penalise you putting solar PV in, getting you familiar with what they might look like, and from the outset making sure that the systems we deploy for you are robust and will achieve those return on investments periods that we suggest when we're looking at the projects. Around the consultancy piece, we've undertaken a number of different commissions for people like United Learning Trust. Personally, I was a retained energy manager by the trust for about 2 years, putting in their environmental management system and helping them put a procurement strategy together for renewables. That group now is running about 87 schools up and down the country, a mixture of public and private. The local one to here would be Sea Haven, for those that are obviously local that know the schools. We've also consulted with Southern Water in and around their innovation and energy saving strategy, and Chichester Council. We took an assignment on from them, applying for a public sector decarbonisation scheme funding through the government, through SALEX, and successfully got £1.6 million awarded to help them install those tubes, for argument's sake. About 400 of those, that's a solar thermal product, and about 400 solar panels on the Westgate Leisure Centre in Chichester. And as I said earlier, one of our wonderful accolades of late is working with the East Sussex College Group and helping to bridge that skills gap. I've talked about whole of energy market strategy, supporting research and development. We've made a small investment into a vertical access wind turbine. Looks a lot different to that, so watch out for the sort of Q3, Q4 this year when we're going to announce that in more detail. We do a lot in partnership, hence the College Group and other contracting businesses around the area. Talked about procurement, just touching on legislation for those of you that run a sizable manufacturing business that might employ more than 250 staff or be part of a group setup. And I think John from Marlow, we talked about this when we did your installation for you. There's energy legislation that is referred to as the acronyms, the Energy Saving Opportunities Scheme and the Streamlined Energy Carbon Reporting. And then MEES is the Minimum Energy Efficiency Standard. The reason these things are quite topical and important is because if you take SECAR, which is a UK-based piece of legislation, if you fall into that category of being a group that employs more than 250 staff or turns over more than 34 million euros, you have to, in your annual accounts, disclose what percentage and what budget you're going to allocate for the next year to reduce your carbon by. So if you want more details on all this, please, we're here to help. Always happy to talk, as you can probably gather. I am watching the clock. Quick example, one of our clients, many of you would have seen the Camson's pharmacies on your high streets and probably gone and picked up paracetamol, your prescription. We started working with Camson's a few years ago now, and we deployed 250 kilowatts onto their roof in Uckfield, just under actually. And the details that are on there just shows you the carbon savings that are being achieved. Fast forwarding to today, we are now in discussions. They bought the old TR Fastenings building, those that are familiar with Uckfield, and we're going to be on site, I would imagine, within the next sort of 6 to 8 weeks, fingers crossed, subject to their roof being repaired, to put on nearly 500 kilowatts of PV. So be a nice project, especially throughout the summer months. Those manufacturers in the room, GT Factors, just up the road, one of our clients, we installed for them about 18 months ago. Jarvis Manufacturing, again up on Lockbridge Drove. John, I hope you don't mind, but I did put obviously your good selves in there for the project we did with you, and that's just an indication of some of the projects that we're doing. Gap Metal was one we did back end of last year. They've got 2 buildings, and it's made a considerable amount of benefit to them by having the solar installed, reducing their operational costs. It's not just about PV. There's Jason, our founder and MD, with Paddy, who's qualified. He came through the apprenticeship scheme. He's a qualified plumber. Caroline Ansell, obviously our local MP. Many of you will recognise Caroline. And another one of our apprentices, Ollie, who is just starting his journey to become a plumbing and heating engineer. So, some of the gongs, just want to touch upon those. There's one there that, Donna, you'll remember we went up to London to the Energy Saving Awards, and as part of this project, we received a highly commended award that day. So it's really important for us to carry on trying to be the best that we can be and bring our teams and our apprentices to do exactly the same. Reverting back to why we're here and what we're doing. Working with East Sussex County Council and the Careers Hub, we become energy champions. We go out to schools, we go out to colleges, we support events like this, just to try and help convey the message. Talk about the skills gaps, not just in the green sector, but we had a meeting earlier in the week, Donna and I, and we were talking about what other skills gap might be out there that are affecting manufacturers or affecting fisheries or whoever it might be. So if you've got anything that a skill you struggle to, find, and we need to look at maybe applying a course or putting a course together to help you, then please talk to myself or Donna and we can see what we can do. So, rattle through it at a bit of speed. Hopefully some of that was... oh, hello.
Soils needs, but any questions?
Of course, please.
Okay, so you mentioned benefits,
yeah,
but it wasn't clear what benefits you're seeing.
Okay.
And also, what opportunities are you in terms of identifying things that your customers need that you haven't actually quite developed yet? What's the plan for that?
Oh, well, taking the last point, we're in a sector that is evolving at such a rate. So technology-wise, there's not one technology that will give you that net zero 100% achievement. It's always going to be a blend. So solar panels, I talked about Camsons. We installed that 3.5, 4 years ago now. They were 280 watt panels. The same physical size of panel today is currently 435 watts. So the efficiencies is getting greater and greater and greater. There's rumours that manufacturers in China are looking to provide a 500 watt panel in the size of an A3 sheet. Will that come? I don't know. The wind turbine I mentioned, that's something that is very exciting for us. The benefits to manufacturers, users of renewable energy technologies there's a multiple benefits. If you were to look at the carbon savings and report that within your annual accounts or within your sustainability statements, there's a benefit there when you are tendering for new contracts. So last week I sat on a net zero training course funded by the council, and there was a gentleman there from East Sussex County Council that said, unless you can demonstrate that you've got a carbon reduction plan in place, if you are turning over in excess of 5 million, the county council want to see that carbon reduction plan as part of your tendering process for tendering for new contracts of work.
Yeah, because we work with Edmonds and the division level reducing emissions is kind of a bit of a hot topic
Absolutely.
Globally, and from kind of senior leadership downwards.
Yeah.
So that's quite
Yeah. That's all right. I hope I've answered all your questions. If there's anything else, please just call me afterwards.
I'm just curious enough to know, I can keep asking questions.
No, that's fine. If I may just close up on that one point, opportunity. We appreciate that we are in an energy crisis. I think it was been used last year was some of the terminology that was banded around, and all the councils have got their own net zero aims of 2030, 2035, and so on and so forth. what we've done over the last 3 years is we've gone out into the city and into the market, and we've tried to find ways that we can help companies that perhaps are looking to either relocate, like I was talking to one of the guys from Firminex earlier, want to invest in new tech to go into their new facility, don't really have the capital to put renewable tech in as part of that move. So what we've done over the last few years is we've been fortunate enough, after many, many months of knocking on doors, just being tenacious, of engaging with a number of pension funds and a number of energy companies that have access to money and are looking to deploy that money into renewable energy projects. There's a term called a power purchase agreement, and fundamentally what they would do, they would fund all of the technology to go into a project at no capital cost to that project, putting it on a power purchase agreement and saving the organisations anywhere between 15 and 25% of their bottom line day one. So we're trying to keep that under wraps. We don't want our competition to find out too much about it just yet. But if anyone wants to talk about that or talk to me or Courtney, please just reach out to us. We're here to help, and just thank you for your time and thank you for listening.